So we've gone from the 401st to the 416th. So the previous two candidates are welcome to come back in. Mike, if you want to let them know that they can campaign in the hallway, hang out in the other room. Yes. Oh, there he is. Okay, good. Okay. So, first question. Tell me what led you to run for this position? Were you encouraged, inspired, coaxed, cajoled, light bulb come off in your head? What woke you up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to run for judge?
In the community, I spend a lot of time talking to children. Excuse me. When I talk to the kids, I often challenge them. And I'll ask them, what do you want to do with the future? And they'll say, hey, I want to be a nurse. If you want to be the nurse, why not be the doctor? And I want to be a dental tech, or I want to be just something. And I always challenge them to do higher. And so I guess I just followed my own advice. I've been a lawyer for 16 years. I've had a successful career. Why not be a judge? I'm just following my own advice, challenging myself as I do to the children.
Now, tell us a little about your work experience, educational background and work experience. What specifically qualifies you for this position?
Educational background. Graduated high school, Jacksboro, Texas. Got a degree from Texas A&M in political science. Went to St. Mary's Law School. Came to Collin County in '99. I worked 4 years for the Collin County District Attorney's Office. I left the District Attorney's Office. I went and spent 1 year working at Touchstone Bernays doing insurance defense. After a year of doing insurance defense, I went out on my own and in private practice. In private practice, I've been a plaintiff's attorney, and I do defense work, criminal defense work. What qualifies me for this court is I am the only candidate that has any type of criminal experience in this race. Nobody can say that. If you go to the state bar and get everybody else's bar numbers and go to the Collin County website and look at it, no one has even handled a criminal case in Collin County but me. This court is a capital court. It's going to hear capital murder cases. It's going to hear aggravated sexual assault of a child cases. It's going to hear cases that no one has had any experience but me. I have had experience on both sides of the aisle for any type of case that this court will hear. I've been the prosecutor. I've been the defense attorney on felony cases. I've been the plaintiff's attorney negotiating $1 million cases. During the insurance defense, I defended those same cases. I've been the petitioner and the respondent in family law cases. I've represented mothers, fathers, and children in CPS cases. Nobody else running for this court can say that they have the experience that I have. That's why I feel I'm qualified.
Now, are you practicing independently currently or part of a larger law firm?
I am independent.
Okay. And based where?
McKinney, Texas.
And you've been in practice here for how long now?
I've been in practice, I've been in McKinney since '99, except for the year in Dallas, so I've been practicing 16 years.
Okay. One of the questions that I was asking some of the other candidates is about campaign finance, because as a citizen, one of the things that always kind of just gives you that uneasy feeling is if I go to if I'm a party in a case being heard in a court, how do I know who the attorneys are that might have contributed to that judge's campaign? So tell me what your thoughts are about attorney or law firms contributing to judicial candidates.
I wish the cost of the campaigns were enough that you didn't have to seek contributions, but I will tell you that so far everything in my campaign has been self-funded. I've paid every dime out of my pocket. I don't want to rely on anyone unless I have to, because so far everything has come out of my pocket. The way I can tell you that is this. Everyone who knows me knows my reputation. They know the type of person that I am. I don't care who you are. Everyone will be treated the same, whether you contribute or whether you don't. I show no favors.
Now, you personally, aside from professional experience, educational experience, what do you feel you personally would bring to the bench that would be something that a person would say, you know what, that's the guy that I want to work for? Because knowing that about him, about his past, his experiences, whatever else it might be, but that's what makes me want to vote for that person. What would that be for you?
I've been in courts from Plainsview to Tyler, from Sulphur Springs to San Antonio. And through it all, I think the biggest thing that I could bring to the courtroom is empathy. I think you need someone who can follow the law, but also understand that, sometimes bad things happen to good people. And I think you need someone who can follow the law, but also have some empathy and compassion. And I think that's what I can bring.
And any particular past experiences that have made you a more empathetic person than another person might be?
The whole reason I went to law school is I wanted to market myself at a way that people who maybe could not afford the big high-dollar lawyer could have a competent attorney at a reasonable price. If you check my history, you'll see that I rarely get off a case where someone can't pay. I always finish it out because I don't like to leave people in their time of need. I think that's what it is. That's the way I was raised. My family's had a funeral home for 100 years, and you'll go and look at our motto, and it is, we don't turn down service. We were raised, I come from a family of people who like to help. That's what we do. It's what we've always done.
Are there any cases that you were involved in where midway through you had to reassign a case or had to recuse yourself from a case?
Yes, sir. There are some of those. Yes.
And any particular examples? What were some of the circumstances in which that happened?
Well, I had a family law case where I was representing the father, and the night before we went to trial, I received an email from the other side, and in the email, the mother was asking the daughter, and it clearly looked like it was coached at the time we were watching it. Mother's asking the daughter, hey, what does daddy say to you about brown people? And the daughter goes on to say how brown people are dirty and brown people are not smart. And okay, I'm thinking, I'm fighting for this man to get these kids. His kids are my age. And, I'm thinking, what? This is coached. It's obvious coached. I can tell it's coached. Until the little boy, the other kid, chimes in, and mommy, daddy's wrong. They're not black. They're not brown. Mommy, daddy's wrong. They're not black. They're brown. And at that point, I knew that he had been telling them this. Well, the next morning, prayed on it. I went and I talked to him about it, asked him about it, played the video about it, didn't deny it, didn't think there was a problem with it, and I couldn't do it. So I did ask to get off and was allowed to get off the case. I could not fight for this man to get his kids, to raise his kids to hate mine. I just couldn't do it. And that is one time where I left a guy in here say we need.
Any particular endorsements that you've received that you're particularly proud of?
I've been endorsed by the Collin County Sheriff Deputies Association, and I've also found out today that I was endorsed by the McKinney Police Officers Association, and I'm excited and humbled to announce that.
And were those endorsements you pursued? Did they come spontaneously? How did those endorsements go about?
I pursued both of them, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Questions anybody might have? Now, you probably got a hint from the previous candidates where I turned to the audience to ask for questions that if you come up with a question, that would be a very, very good thing to do, the guys in the back especially. Now, let me ask about this. How do you, one of the things that I believe is continually a challenge for judges, or I would imagine it would be, is separating personal views from cases that you have to hear, and expressing publicly views, for example, in a campaign, expressing particular opinions about subjects that may subsequently be issues you might hear in your court. How do you reconcile your First Amendment right to freedom of speech and to be able to speak your opinion on a variety of personal, legal topics, yet staying within the bounds of judicial conduct?
Well, for one, I think you have to be very conscious of what you say and where you say it and how you say it. For two, if you talk to my wife, she'll tell you I'm not one to ever bring my work home with me. I try to leave my work at the office. I don't try to come home and discuss what I've done during the day. I always try to discuss what my children have done during the day. Like that's way more important than anything that I can do is what my children do. So as far as that goes, I don't think it would be a problem. As far as discussing particular ins and outs of cases, I don't think I would have to worry about that because I have 2 little girls that make sure my evenings are occupied.
Okay. Now, have you been a candidate for any other races
No, sir.
previously?
No, sir.
First time?
First time.
Very good. Yes, sir.
Since you wanted a question. I realize that judge positions should not be politicized, but because of the nature of this group here, would you consider yourself a solid conservative?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the question was in essence, this is obviously a fairly conservative group, and there is a political aspect to every election, even for judges. And the question was, do you consider yourself a conservative?
Yes, sir, I do.
And I would ask as a follow-up question, defined how?
Define how. Let me see if I can do it this way. If elected, I believe that it is a conservative's position as a judge to protect the Constitution. I don't believe that I should try to make new law or legislate law. I believe that I should protect the Constitution as the laws are given to me. I understand there are some laws out there that I may not like and I may not agree with, but it's my duty as a judge to enforce those laws and follow those laws. As a conservative elected official, I believe that fiscally I need to look out and be aware for the taxpayers' dollars. I need to find ways to try to cut corners to try to save taxpayers' money. We have a court-appointed attorney system in Collin County that costs taxpayers millions of dollars. And I believe we need to do something to try to lower the cost on that. As far as the costs that are paid out currently, it's a decent rate. However, we need to come up with a better plan for vetting who gets court-appointed attorneys. It's a shame when I leave court and there are people with court-appointed attorneys who are driving better cars than I am. I drive a Honda, by the way. So that's what I think the conservatives should be.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.